The Earth does not forget. It keeps its oldest stories buried in clay, tucked beneath roots, pressed into cliff sides, and scattered across plains where no human walks anymore. For thousands of years, people living close to the land returned with the same unsettling reports. Splintered trees, crushed earth, strange bones uncovered by storms, and footprints too massive, too heavy, too unfamiliar to belong to anything alive today. We called those stories exaggerations, warnings, folklore made to frighten children. But as we saw in the first video, sometimes myth begins with something real. And today, we continue that journey. This is part 2 of the video about mythical creatures that almost certainly began as real animals, creatures so strange, so powerful, and so ancient that when early humans stumbled upon their bones, stories were the only way to explain them. Some walked like mountains, some soared like shadows, some hunted with weapons evolution has never repeated. All of them lived. All of them left traces, and all of them became legends. Welcome back to the forgotten beasts of our planet. Let's begin. 1. Paraceratherium. Our first creature stands behind some of the oldest legends of walking titans, giant, silent beasts that shook the ground with every step. In Central Asia, ancient travelers spoke of monstrous animals taller than houses, with long necks, deep chests, and footsteps that left craters in the soil. They called them mountain walkers and earth shakers. But fossils tell the true story. Paraceratherium was the largest land mammal to ever walk the earth, standing nearly 16 feet tall at the shoulder and over 30 feet long. This hornless rhinoceros towered over every creature of its time. Its legs were thick as tree trunks. Its neck arched like that of a small giraffe. Its skull alone was longer than many people's torsos. Imagine a herder thousands of years ago discovering one of those skulls half buried in dust, a jaw wider than his chest, teeth the size of his fingers. What story would he tell? A titan that once walked the plains, a giant that shaped the land with its weight, a guardian of the horizon. Paraceratherium was real, and it didn't need horns or claws to become a legend. 2. Smilodon. Next on our list is a creature whose bones inspired nightmares, the saber-toothed demon of old tribal stories. Across the Americas, ancient peoples told tales of a great cat. Short, muscular, powerful, with fangs so long they pierced armor and paws strong enough to break bone. They described a predator that struck from the shadows and left behind bodies torn with strange, deep puncture wounds. But nature created something even more terrifying. Smilodon, often called the saber-toothed tiger, was unlike any modern big cat. It had a barrel chest, thick limbs, and 2 enormous fangs that grew up to 7 inches long. It didn't chase prey. It ambushed it, exploding from hiding, pinning victims down, and delivering a killing bite with surgical precision. Now imagine a hunter discovering its skull for the first time. Curved fangs still sharp after thousands of years. No modern animal has anything like them. What would he think? A demon cat? A spirit of the underworld? A beast that swallows souls? Smilodon wasn't just a predator. It was the kind of animal myths are built around. 3. Quetzalcoatlus morthropi. Now let's raise our eyes to the sky. Across many cultures, stories speak of creatures that blotted out the sun. Giant birds that carried off people, sky serpents with wings like sails, dragons that rode the wind. One real creature fits those descriptions almost too perfectly. Quetzalcoatlus morthropi was the largest flying animal to ever exist. With a wingspan of 35 to 40 feet, it could stand as tall as a giraffe, its sharp beak longer than a grown man's arm. It walked on all fours, stalking prey on land before taking to the air in a single powerful leap. Imagine early humans looking up to see a shadow glide silently overhead, wings as wide as a house. What else could they call it? A thunderbird? A sky dragon? A messenger of the gods? Quetzalcoatlus was real, a living myth with leathery wings instead of feathers. 4. Diprotodon. In Australia, ancient Aboriginal stories describe the bunyip, a massive, strange creature living in swamps and billabongs with a broad face, heavy body, and deep rumbling call. For centuries, the bunyip was dismissed as pure imagination. Then science found something interesting. Diprotodon, the largest marsupial ever discovered, matched those descriptions almost perfectly. It was the size of a small car, with a broad snout, huge teeth, and a lumbering body built for long, slow travel. It lived in wetlands and forests, exactly where bunyip legends were born. Imagine early humans finding its bones, skulls the size of bathtubs, jawbones thicker than a man's forearm. Or imagine one of the last Diprotodon wandering the land as humans first arrived in Australia. The stories would write themselves. The bunyip wasn't myth, it was memory. 5. Terror bird, Paraceratherium. Now comes a creature straight out of a nightmare. Across South America, tribes once spoke of a giant bird, fast, silent, merciless, that hunted people across the open plains. A bird that didn't fly, a bird that ran. A bird with a beak sharp enough to split bone. They were describing something real. Paraceratherium, one of the terror birds, stood up to 10 feet tall and could sprint faster than a horse. Its hooked beak acted like an axe, capable of delivering a single killing strike. Imagine walking across a clearing and seeing a massive shadow racing toward you. Head low, beak open, legs pounding the earth like war drums. No wonder the stories survived for generations. Terror birds were real, and they earned their name. 6. Glyptodon. Across South America again, legends told of living boulders, creatures with armored shells, too heavy to move, too strong to kill. Some stories describe giants hiding inside their shells to ambush hunters. Others speak of ancient war beasts used by gods or spirits. Here's the twist: their fossils match the tales perfectly. Glyptodon was an enormous, tank-like mammal about the size of a small car, covered in armor plates fused like a natural shield. Its tail sometimes ended in a bony club capable of shattering bones with a single swing. Imagine a group of early people finding its shell, a perfect dome of stone-like armor weighing hundreds of pounds. What would they think? A living rock? A creature born from mountains? A monster curled into a fortress? Glyptodon wasn't fantasy. It was a prehistoric tank. 7. Deinotherium. Across Africa, Europe, and Asia, ancient civilizations told stories of monstrous elephants, creatures with strange tusks that curved downward like scythes. They were depicted on pottery, carved into stone, whispered about in tales of forest demons. Here's the twist: they existed. Deinotherium, a relative of modern elephants, stood even taller and heavier than today's African elephants. Its tusks curved downward from its jaw, giving it a strange, ghostly appearance. Imagine a farmer digging in the soil and uncovering a skull as large as a table, with tusks shaped like sickles. Or imagine seeing one of the last Deinotherium at a distance, its silhouette so bizarre it hardly seemed part of the natural world. Some believe Deinotherium skulls even inspired early Cyclops myths, as the central sinus cavity resembles a single giant eye socket. Myth, meat fossil. 8. Megatherium. Our final creature takes us deep into the forests of South America. Tribes once warned of a giant, a slow-moving mountain of muscle and fur that walked on two legs, tore trees from the ground, and defended its territory with dagger-long claws. They called it a guardian, a demon, a spirit of the forest. Here's the twist: something very similar once existed. Megatherium, the giant ground sloth, weighed up to 4 tons and stood more than 20 feet tall when upright. Its claws grew over a foot long. It could knock over trees with a single push, and unlike modern sloths, it was powerful, fast, and territorial. Imagine being an early human and seeing a silhouette rise from behind the trees. Broad shoulders, long claws, moving with slow, unstoppable force. Would you call it an animal or a forest god? Megatherium didn't need to be mythical. It simply needed to be seen. Myths don't appear out of thin air. They grow from bones unearthed after storms, from footprints left in the mud, from skulls dragged out of riverbanks by curious hands. The 8 creatures we explored today lived in different eras and places, but each left behind a story. A story that evolved into legend, carried across generations until truth blurred into mystery. Some were gentle giants. Some were deadly hunters. All were real. All were stranger than the myths they inspired. And the most astonishing part? We haven't found everything yet. There are bones still buried, caves still unexplored, stories still waiting to be uncovered. So the next time someone tells you about thunderbirds in the sky, giants in the forest, or strange beasts roaming the plains, remember, maybe the first storytellers weren't inventing monsters. Maybe they were remembering. If you enjoyed this journey into Earth's forgotten past, there's always more waiting just beneath the surface. Until next time, keep your eyes on the ground and your curiosity sharp.